Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Logistics Executive TV. Today, we have a hybrid interview with somebody from the Leadership Series and also a very widely published author. He's a peak performance strategist for senior executives, behavioural scientist, a speaker, as I said, an author, a trainer, and he helps teams remove the blockages that often prevent us from our peak performance. Without further ado, Darren Fleming, welcome and thanks for joining us.
G'day, Kim. Great to be here or there or somewhere in the cloud, wherever we happen to be.
Good job. And where are you today, Darren?
I'm coming from the beautiful city of Adelaide in Australia. Adelaide's the best kept secret in the country. Some of the world's greatest wine regions, less than an hour's drive from my front door. And I don't even drink.
Oh, there you go. An Australian that doesn't drink. That's always a good thing.
Rare.
Hey, Darren, I've been following you online and we've had a really good chat at the top of the show off camera. I want to explore a couple of different areas with you, but I guess there's a bit of an entry. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the books that you've published, which is where I initially became attracted to your work. I'm not too sure what the chronology is, but certainly the one that says "Don't be a dick," creating connections was of interest to me. You've also written how to write a 10-minute presentation in under 2 minutes. More sales, more profit, selling for accountants, and other interesting pieces. Tell us a little bit about your background, your upbringing, where the journey has taken you so far in your career, and then I'd like to talk about some of your most recent work as well. So, where did it all start?
Well, the 10-second version, when I left school, I didn't think I'd be doing this. I wanted to be. I wanted to be a lawyer at the time, so I got a job on one of Sydney's top law firms. They were paying me to go to uni. I was travelling the country representing clients in court, assisting barristers. Then one of my mentors said to me, "Darren, remember, no one ever calls their lawyer and says, 'I've had a great day, can I tell you all about it?'" So I quit. Actually, they sacked me. The only job I could get was selling vacuum cleaners door to door. That sucked. I did that for 12 months. I did telemarketing for 2 years and 3 years of telephone debt collecting for Westpac. And along the way, I just looked at the way people communicated and got their message out. I remember sitting near one lady at Westpac. She had to do a 10-minute presentation as part of her annual performance review, and she spent 3 days working on it. Like, that just killed productivity, and that was the idea behind the book, How to Write a 10-Minute Presentation.
Westpac being one of the big four banks in Australia for our audience, and certainly one of the biggest companies in Australia.
Yes, yeah. And when I look at people, when they were trying to sell, they'd all just come in and say, "I'm this, you need to buy me." And like, no, go away. And then I branched out into the accounting field because the way the accountant world has been automated with technology, accountants know so much about my business, your business, and they've got an amazing story to tell, but they don't sell it to us. And therefore, me as their client, I don't spend more money with them. So that book was showing them how to do that.
Okay.
Finally, Don't Be a Dick is about how do we stop having connections with people. In essence, we become dicks.
Yeah.
And the message behind the book is don't turn your back, don't cover your ears, don't close your heart. Connect with people.
And again, for those of different countries and different cultures, in Australian parlance, if you're a dick, you're a bit of an idiot. So that's basically what the vernacular is there.
Yes.
Good job. So you've written and a couple of other books. Now I want to talk about your most recent efforts, which I know you're working on at the moment.
Yeah, it's my current book, Mindset Mastery: How to Achieve More by Doing Less.
Love that.
Sounds like utopia, but it's actually possible. And it's possible when you understand why we don't achieve. So if you want to, say, lose weight or, start going to the gym, whatever it happens to be, to not eat something, what we do is we put scaffolding around it. Yeah. So So if you read books like Atomic Habits by James Clear, great book, and he'll say if you want to have, you're fitter, get those abs you've been after, do some habit stacking. So you've got to go to the toilet a couple of times a day. After you've done that, go off and do some push-ups, and that'll work. Or if you read Milton Fogg's Tiny Habits, not that they're bigger habits than Atomic Habits, as the name implies, it's all about the smallest possible activity to remove the friction. You want to go for a bike ride tomorrow morning, lay your clothes out tonight, put your bike there so it's easy. My question is, if you want to go to the gym, if you want to get fit, what is stopping you?
Yeah.
If we get rid of what is stopping you, you can be a choice and then simply do it.
So
and then if you decide to not go to the gym.
Yeah, so are we talking about issues like using problem-solving techniques, or is it about distractions, or what are the key issues here?
So, this is about understanding things that are most fundamental level. And when I say fundamental, what are you and I made of? What are we made of? Answer that question.
Mainly water and molecules, from what I understand.
Smaller than that.
Oh, no, you got me.
Okay, so molecules are made up of water. Water is a molecule. Molecules are made up of atoms. Atoms are made up of protons, electrons, neutrons. Now, they're the fundamental particles. Yeah. Now, you can go smaller into quarks, up quarks, down quarks and the stuff, but let's just stick at protons, electrons, neutrons. You and I, and the computer we're listening to, and the people driving around listening to it, everything is simply atoms, which means everything is simply energy.
Yep.
So if we've got something that is stopping us or causing us, stopping us going to the gym or causing us to eat that, donut, the solution to stopping doing that lies in energy. So if you want to go to the gym, but you realise that you need to have the tiny habits of putting the smallest possible things in place, that is to overcome that energetic sensation that is stopping you. If we dissolve that energetic sensation, we will not have something to overcome that we need tiny habits for. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. It's deep. Is this coming out of your most recent book? Because I know you're working on a book at the moment as to where you
this is Mindset Mastery.
Right. We've written that one. Yeah.
So I started mapping it out today. I've been thinking about it, but today I put pencil to paper and mapped out the chapters. And it's a program I've been running in corporate Australia for about 12 months now.
Sure.
When it comes to, that donut that I don't want to eat because I'm trying to lose weight, but, I feel the draw to it. We feel as though we're being drawn to it. And like that is an actual sensation. We often hear people, I can hear those bees calling my name. That's an energetic sensation within us. So instead of being the victim of not having any beer or chocolate in the house, which makes you a victim, which means you can't go out with your family and go to the pub because you've got to keep away from it, why don't we just dissolve what it is that's drawing you to it? If we dissolve that, it's not a problem you have to overcome. You can choose to have a donut or you can choose to not have a donut, but you're not affected either way.
So if I hear you correctly, the latest book, which is Mindset Mastery, which is yet to be published, so this is the one you're working on at the moment. This is about controlling your own mind, getting structures and habits together to be able to find pathways to get the performance that you want, or to develop the habits that you want?
Yes, but no. Yes, it is all about the mind, but it's not about putting habits in there. It's not about putting discipline in there because there's been books written for 150 years on habits and disciplines, and we've still got an obese and under-exercised and a society that is not, you try these techniques and they work for a couple of weeks and then you forget about them. You go back to homeostasis. And then what happens is we feel guilty. I read Atomic Habits, great book, but I'm not following it. And there's the guilt in it. Something is drawing you back.
So what's the threads of wisdom that you are looking to lay out for people to catch on to be able to improve the outcomes in their lives? That I guess the existential issue of what we're all trying to achieve in our own ways. Everybody in their own life is trying to deal with the existential issues that they've got to deal with.
Yeah. So it's based in the Buddha's teachings. Yeah. The Buddha, great scientist, like amazing scientist. And he worked out what happened is we have sensations inside our body that cause us to act a certain way. And we have cravings or we have aversions. And most people have ignorance about those two. They're realizing that we have them. So what he said is just observe those sensations.
Right. So Buddha, one of your influences?
Yeah, Buddha. Jesus Christ, he said the same thing. Know yourself. Yep. The kingdom of heaven is within. The Stoic philosophers, they said the obstacle is the way. Now, what that means is you have something you need to overcome to get to where you want to. You overcome that obstacle is inside you. The obstacle is always inside you.
Well, it sounds intriguing because, one of the things that we've found on a lot of the interviews we've been doing over the last couple of years or so now, where people have had a different ecosystem to deal with, had more time at home often, more time to think, more time to relate to those who they may not have related to enough in recent times. So people have tended, would you agree that people have tended to go more internal, and is that played out in book sales about thinking about the reason for being and about their journey and how to move forward with a degree of happiness?
I think people are trying to go internal, but they're doing it externally. So I want to know about me, so they go pick up a book. Oh, this is a great book by my colleague,
somebody else will tell you about me. Yeah.
And so I read this book to learn about me. No, the answer to you is not outside of you. It's inside you. Okay. If you look at the structure of the brain, the reptilian, then the next one, and then the neocortex, the reptilian and the limbic brain, what they talk about is they're emotion, they are sensation communicating parts of our brain, because language hadn't been developed yet by our brain when those parts of the brain were created. So if we want to talk to ourselves, we can't do it through words because it doesn't get to the core. We need to do it through sensations, feelings,
intriguing.
Emotion.
Absolutely intriguing. Hey, listen, sounds really interesting stuff, and I'm sure a lot of our audience would be interested in having a look at the various books that you have produced. Just to summarise those again, 10-minute presentation, how to write a 10-minute presentation in 2 minutes. Got to be good for any business executive. There's a couple there on sales and selling. Love the sound of Don't Be a Dick. And the most recent one was again?
Mindset Mastery, How to Achieve More by Doing Less.
Right. And that's out and it's published already?
No, I've just started writing it today.
Right. Yes, that's the one we were talking about earlier. So that's the one.
It's the course. It's the course that I've been running in Australia for 12 months. Well, best place to follow me is LinkedIn, Darren Fleming.
I was just going to lead into that. So how do people find you? And I'm sure you'd be more than happy to communicate with people if they reach out. So Darren Fleming, LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And or darrenfleming.com.au, 1M in Fleming.
Okay. Just give me that .com again.
darrenfleming.com.au. We'll have a link somewhere below.
Awesome. Good stuff, Darren. So Darren Fleming, peak performance strategist for senior executives, behavioural scientist, speaker, author, trainer, and person generally helping teams find their way forward. Really appreciate you taking the time in Adelaide today. Look forward to following up on when the book is published. Give us the inside wrap on breaking that when it's ready.
I will.
Take it out to our audience and give them a little bit more insight as to what you've been thinking about in recent days and even today, by the sound of it, for that new book.
Not a problem.
Great.
Cheers.
Thanks, Darren. I got one more question for you. We often get our guests to give a little bit of advice. So for you, what I'd like you to provide to us is a tip for anybody thinking of writing a book. What would be your greatest piece of advice for any budding authors out there?
Write drunk, edit sober.
Not too sure.
Just
that's
write it.
Not too sure that's appropriate for many of our audience here in the Middle East. But by all means,
what it refers to is just write with abandon. Don't edit while you're writing. Just write, and then come back tomorrow and edit.
Okay.
If you don't have the clay, you can't shape it.
Yeah. So unload, brain dump, throw it all out on the table, and then try and make sense of it
later. Don't make sense of it while you're writing.
When you've had a good night's sleep. Hey, Darren, great to talk to you. Look forward to keeping in touch, my friend, and all the best with the business and with the writing.